Good morning, dear student. In our grammar, our ninth lesson name is verb here. So we can say that what is verb here? So we see the definition here given. The word that tell us what a noun or pronoun is doing is called verb here. So what the subject is doing here? We know that the sentence beginning with subject here. Subject means noun and pronoun here. So what the subject is doing here? And for that, in a sentence, the sentence we see here what the subject is doing here. So the word that tell us what a noun or pronoun is doing is called verb. So we can say that here verbs are action word here. Here example is given here. We see the first, the children are going to the school here. So the children become subject here and the second position are going become verb here. So the second position is verb here. Then second example, I is a pronoun. It means subject. And then after speak is a verb. I speak in English. So here speak become verb here. Then we is pronoun here. And we know that we is subject also. And it is given verb at. At is a verb here. So we ate pizza yesterday here. Then the train is a subject. Subject means here noun is given here. Then will come. Will come become verb here. So the train will come soon here. So will come become verb here. Then a sparrow. A sparrow is chirping here. So a sparrow is a subject and is chirping become here verb here. Then Mina. Mina is a noun here and was writing homework. It means was writing become verb here. So we can say that the sentence beginning with subject, subject means noun or pronoun, and the second position is verb here we see here. Then we can say that there are two kinds of verb. There are two kinds of verb. First, main verb. What is the definition of main verb? So the verb that have meaningful sense. The verb that have meaningful sense to complete the sentence are called main verb. If we see the verb, then we can understand what the sentence tells us. What the sentence tells us and what the sentence is going to tell us here if we see the verb here, because by seeing the verb we can see here what the subject is doing here. So by seeing the verb that have meaningful sense, that give us the meaning here of the sentence, so to complete the sentence are called main verb. We see here the example, like first example, the cow give us milk here. So what the cow give us here? Give us milk here. So the cow give here. Then here the gives become verb here. Then they become subject here. Then what they are doing here? They play here. By saying play we understand here. They play. The subject is playing here. So play become verb here. Then Tom. Tom is subject here. It means noun and painted. Painted become verb here. So Tom painted the fence. We find here painted is a verb here. Then Neha. Neha is a noun and Neha solved the sum. So we know that Neha is doing something. Neha is solving something here. Then children. Children is a noun and I. Here like become verb here. So here the children like chocolate here. So like become verb here. So we see here gives, play, painted, solve and like become verb here. So these are main verb, we can say that here. Then given here the second kind of verb, that is auxiliary verb. We can say that the verb that are used as a helping verb are called auxiliary. Once again, the verb that are used as a helping verb are called auxiliary. We can say that also helping verb also, because helping verb help us to understand the sentence is in which tense here. the auxiliary help us to know the sentence is in which tense here. First we see the example and which helping verb we have to use, also given one table here. So we see the example here, like Virat is a good player here. So here is become here helping verb, that is auxiliary. Then they are playing cricket. So for that we have are is a helping verb. Then the train was late yesterday. So for the yesterday we know that was we have to use was and were used for the past tense here. Then we were reading the story. So we were reading the story. Here were become helping verb, that is auxiliary here. Then he will start the verb. So will become here auxiliary. Then I shall write a letter. So shall become here auxiliary, that is helping verb. So here is, are, was, were, will, and shall become here auxiliary. We see here when we have to use this auxiliary verb. Suppose the subject is I for the present tense. We want to show the present tense, so we have to use am with I am. We can say that I am. Then we have to use are. Then you is there in subject, so we have to use are. Then he, she, it is there, then we have to use is. Then they is given here, so we have to use are for the present tense. So we can say that is, am, are. So the present tense, we have to use this auxiliary is, am, are for the present tense. But when we have to use is, when we have to use I, am, and are, we have to sing the subject. We have to use it here. With I, we have to use am. For we, you, and they, we have to use are. And he, she, it, we have to use is. For the past tense, if the sentence is in past tense, by saying the yesterday, then last word, we can know that the sentence is in a past tense, so we have to use was and were. For with the I subject we have to use was. For we have to use were. Then for with the you subject we have to use were. And he, she, it is there in a subject, so we have to use was here. Then they is in subject, so we have to use were here in a auxiliary verb. Then for the future tense, we have to use shall and will here. With the I and we have to use shall here. That is shall, we can also say that here. With the I and we have to use shall for the future tense. And the sentence is tomorrow word is given here. So definitely the sentence is in a future tense. With the you, we have to use will. He, she, it is there, so we have to use will. For the they, we have to use will here. So we can understand here. Then for the present tense we have to use is, am, are. For the past tense we have to use here was, were, auxiliary. And for the future tense we have to use shall and will here. But the subject must be most important, so you have to by heart this table and you have to understand this table for putting here the proper auxiliary with proper subject here. We can say that verbs are the heart of the sentence here. Verbs are the heart of the sentence here. It means without verb we cannot make any sentence here. Without verb we cannot make any sentence here. So we can say that verbs are action verb. And verbs, we know that the position of the verb is second here. We have to the sentence beginning with the subject. Subject means noun or pronoun. And the second position is verb here. And verbs are, there are two kinds of verb. First, main verb, and second is auxiliary verb. Whatever we are doing, the doing verb show what the subject is doing here. Verbs show here what the subject is doing here. So we can say that verbs are action verbs. So the action in the sentence. There are two kinds of verb. First, main verb. Main verb show the meaning or the sense of the sentence here. What the subject is doing here. and the second is that is helping verb. So helping verb also help us to put here in a which tense the sentence is. For the present tense we use is mr, for the past tense we use was and were auxiliary verb, and for the future tense we use shall and will for the future tense here. So you understand here the verbs better here. Okay, thank you.